Hey folks, welcome to a special preview video on the Broken Meeple. I don't tend to do these that often, but on this occasion and occasional other times as well, I like to do a video preview for like mainstream publishers, ones that are fairly well known, for Kickstarters that I'm either interested in or have been requested highly by viewers of this video, of this blog. And, I just wanted to give this one a shout out as well. So understand that this is a preview, not a review. I'm not giving my opinion on the game being great or good or bad or whatever. This is to explain what the mechanics are, what Subterra 2 is all about, the kind of things that you'll probably end up getting in the backs, and of course just to provide a little bit more insight into it. So Subterra, if you ever played the original, was a kind of almost like a co-op survival horror game, although horror is to be taken a little bit lightly there. The idea was that each of you were in the middle of this dark cave, and it was a tile laying game. You had to pull tiles out of a bag or from a stack, whichever you preferred, and lay them out, and you were trying to get your various characters out of the cave alive. But you were encountering traps and ghosts and rockfalls and floods and all sorts of a manner of nasty things that will generally hurt you or hinder you, but you had a set time limit to try and get out of there, and you only had so many life points before you effectively went unconscious and fell victim to the darkness of the cave structure. So that was a full co-op. It was 1 to 6 players, not even been able to do more in fact, and the idea was that you tried to work together in order to get out. But of course, it didn't matter too much if you got out as a team or you just simply let other people perish. That's just kind of the way it is. But you're trying to work together, but if only one person survives, then, oh well, fair play to that person. I know I've done that a few times. But it was very much a survival game. You're in the middle of this cave, get out. This one is a sequel to that game and borrows a lot of what made that one unique. It's definitely, though, not a survival horror game in a sense. This one kind of takes more of a thing from, say, Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, or if you want to compare it to a board game, maybe The Adventurers, The Temple of Shock and stuff like that. Because you don't start off in the cave, you've just entered it willingly. Because what you're doing in this is you are going into this, effectively a dark temple, to find a priceless artifact, an idol, chalice, whatever you want to call it really. But you're looking for it. So like before, you are laying out tiles and you're building the cave from scratch, and you're encountering guardians, effectively like monster creatures that are there to take you out. You're encountering traps like lava pits and spike traps and dart traps, rock falls as well, dead ends. And the idea is that you're trying to find 3 keys. These keys allow you to unlock the artifact from its resting place, which is not found until you have cleared the bag of all tiles. I'm going to say bag. I mean, you can do it from a stack or you do it from a bag. It's not a massive deal, really. But the idea is that once you've emptied all those tiles, you've found where the artifact is. But you need the 3 keys in order to do it, and each person can only carry one at a time, so it's best to keep everybody alive for a good while before you get there. But of course, you're under another time limit again, because as you're going through this cave, the timer on the volcano track is ticking down, and once you get to the artifact and you find it, great, life becomes a little bit harder for you in terms of hazards that might screw you over. But if you manage to get the track all the way down to 0, the volcano starts to erupt, and so the cavern tiles start flipping over and become lava filled, which is basically just instant death. So it suddenly becomes a race to the finish as you're trying to get out in quick time, whilst you've got this artifact in hand and you're dodging traps and lava pits and guardians that have spawned out of nowhere and are trying to kill you at a moment's notice. So as I say, very much more a kind of adventure style game, more like Indiana Jones rather than The Descent, that horror film. So those who are fans of the original Subterra are going to get a similar feel from this. It is that same tile laying mechanic. It is the same thing of the cave spawning from the start and being different every time you play. The same dreaded feeling that everything is just out there to hurt you badly and you've got to survive as long as possible with the aid of your friends, but sometimes not necessarily. A lot of people do like to become the Lone Ranger at times. Each of you will take the role of a specific character, and this is no different. You've got a wide variety of characters to pick from, and each one with their own couple of special abilities, life points, little things. So, for example, we've got a guide, an aristocrat. What's an aristocrat doing in the middle of a cave, though, I wonder? A veteran, a sapper, an archaeologist, a healer, and a foreman. There might even be a couple more than that, but, you know, these are the ones I've got here. And I've played all of these, you know, they all have their uses, but certainly there are ones that I prefer to have to hand than others, I have to admit. I quite like, actually, there is a couple that aren't here. I know there is another one. There's a sniper character. In fact, hang on, let me get out of the box. I want to show you everything, of course. Let's see. Ah, yes, here we go. Sorry, I missed out on 3 dudes. 3 more. The rogue, the priest, and the marksman. And the reason I missed out on these 3 is because I was just playing them last night, in fact. So, you know, I love the marksman because the marksman has a scope. Not only can he reveal tiles as you when you're a distance away, he can also take out guardians at a distance. Well, great. You don't want to get close to those things anyway. The priest, you know, not a bad one. It heals your characters and it can take out any monsters on a particular tile just by exerting themselves. Not a bad deal. And the rogue moves very fast and doesn't care about traps. Again, very useful. But all these characters have a good use, and as I say, you got quite a few of them. The rest of the components in here, these is a preview prototype copy, so I'm not going to talk about the quality of components, but you'll essentially get the tiles themselves, you'll get the meeples for the characters and the guardians, and you'll have tokens for things like rock falls and the keys, etc. But as I said, this is a preview copy, so I'm not talking about component quality. If you want to see what the stuff is likely to look like, then I suggest you go to the Kickstarter page and check out all the photos and information there. So the gameplay will carry on until everybody has perished, or one person, or at least one person, is able to get the artifact and get out. Very simple gameplay with this. You know, the rules are not very expansive. You know, there's a little bit more to take in here than in Subterra, I will say, but Subterra was not a complicated game. I mean, you could teach it in like 5 to 6 minutes. And this one, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It's really not that difficult of a game to learn. The main thing that you'll probably have to check the rulebook for is a few things that are like bits like iconography, like, oh, I've pulled this tile, what's that one do again? It's a quick check, it's all laid out so you can find it relatively easily. But of course with this one there is a little bit more that goes on with the iconography, and of course you need to know exactly what you're supposed to do when the volcano triggers and when you find the artifact, because that changes the difficulty up quite a bit. On that subject, you can tweak the difficulty to your heart's content as to how you want to play this game, although first impressions, certainly I recommend you adhere to the book and start on beginner level, you know, on your first try. Don't try to get ahead of yourself and go for it because, yeah, it isn't an easy game. You have to know that going in. This is a very challenging game. It's not easy to win, but it's very satisfying when you do, like most hard co-ops. Take something like Ghost Stories, for example, on my shelf. Now, you know, it is a bit of a, you have to deal with the fact that there is some random luck because you're drawing tiles from a bag. You have no idea what you're going to do. You can look ahead to see what the tile is, but you obviously need to move fast through this cave, so sometimes you just like jump into no man's land and hope you don't get screwed over. But you've got drawing the tiles from the bag, there's dice rolls for taking out some of the guardians if you resort to hand-to-hand combat. And of course, you know, you've no idea how this cave's going to turn out. You know, keys might be on one side and then you find the artifact on the other. You know, there is randomness here, so if that is a put-off for you, then you might want to look elsewhere. But I think most of you who are aware of Subterra know what sort of game you're getting into and already love the game and have no problem with that. But what you're getting here is a simple co-op, works for up to 6 players, can be played solo, and essentially all you're doing is just picking a number of characters. It scales fine for all counts of players, and if you play solo, you just do what I do. Pick 3 characters and go at it. I pick these 3, and then I try these 3, and then I try these 3. You know, you can get through a game in anywhere between, say, 20 to 60 minutes, depending on how well you're doing. Get killed early, it'll be about 20 minutes. Do pretty well with a big group, and you're talking about an hour. But should not take any less time or more time than that. So that's all I can really say about Subterra 2. If this is the kind of a co-op game that you're looking for, then I suggest you check out the Kickstarter page and make your pledge. But of course, you just need to be aware of a few things. Firstly, co-op. If that's your thing, great. It's got a fair amount of randomness here. If that's a put-off for you, then look elsewhere. If it doesn't bother you for a light game, then by all means stick around. 1 to 6 players, so soloists out there will be catered for, as well as big groups, because we all know how hard it is to get a game for 5 to 6 players. And, as I say, simple and easy. That's basically what it says on the tin. So that's all from me. I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video, and regardless of whether you've been skewered by a spike trap, taken out by a guardian, or boiled alive in lava, just remember, it's only a game. You can always try again. Take care, and I'll see you next time.